Hello and welcome to Steve's Mixtapes. My guest mixer this week is a very, very patient man. He first contacted me about this mixtape about a year ago, and he has waited uncomplainingly all of that time for me to finally get around to doing it. So his name is James Evans. Hello, James. And he lives in Twickenham. For overseas listeners, who I know make up a decent proportion of my audience, Twickenham is a suburban district of London, probably best known as the home of rugby union. Now, James is a music blogger, and I'll put a link to his blog, Embrace the Margin, on the webpage for this mix at stevesmixtapes.com. Now, we haven't had one of these in a while, not since show 11 in fact, but for this mix, James has sent me all of his notes about his selections, but I'm going to be presenting it. I think it's a really interesting and eclectic mix, so I hope you all enjoy it. So, on to James's notes. First of all, he provides a bit of introduction for context. So he says, I've been compiling mixtapes for most of my life. In 2016, after a malfunction of my laptop whereupon I lost nearly all of my digital recordings, I decided it would be a good idea to write this information down. The music itself could be recovered, but only if I knew what it was that needed to be recovered. I then decided that I may as well write liner notes for these playlists, which ended up as a sort of living autobiography, and that's what made up his blog, Embrace the Margin. As a side note, I feel James's pain here. Last year my laptop had a bit of a meltdown, and I lost something like 45,000 music files collected over several decades. And before you ask, yes, they were backed up, most of them at least, but on a portable hard drive that also gave up the ghost. Anyway, enough of my misery. On to James's mixtape philosophy, which he writes about next. My mixtapes have always been subject to the following conditions. 1. Once a song has been included on any given playlist, it can never appear on another. 2. With a few exceptions, I cannot include tracks that I already own, and they should preferably be completely new to me. The point of the mixtape is to reflect a certain point in time or even a place. The following tracks have all appeared in one of my compilations at some time or another. So there we go, and I'm conscious I've been talking for a little while now, so let's get to the first track, shall we? To hit the ground running, James has chosen a song from a release called Stunning Debut Album, which, as he points out, is neither an album nor a debut. That was, of course, Stereolab with Doubt from 1991's stunning debut album, which, as he pointed out, is neither an album nor a debut. It was, in fact, their second single. He goes on to say, can also be found on the first volume of Stereolab's Switched On series, discovered just last year while working from home and forensically picking apart Stereolab's back catalogue. Okay, on to something old, and James is taking us back to 1972 for a classic rare funk groove. He says, found in the year 2000 on a compilation entitled Keb Darge's Legendary Deep Funk. The tune was in fact the B-side to something called Funky Movement No. 2, which isn't quite as good. So I've put a link to Funky Movement No. 2 on the webpage, which is, I would say, quite James Brown-esque, and none the worse for that. James's selection is a bit more languid and laid back. It's by Timothy McNeely, and it's called Sagittarius Black. From 1972, that was Timothy McNeely with Sagittarius Black. Now, for his something new, James has gone for something from a band that I was not familiar with at all. They're called Vehicle, and they're from Leeds. I looked them up, and the Bandcamp page for this song says Doggerland, for that is the name of the song, is a 3-minute monologue set to primitive exotica, sonically informed by the perfectionist 60s pop of Brian Wilson, Scott Walker and Lee Hazelwood. Doggerland is also a mumbled confession heard wriggling underneath the shipping forecast, a waterbed in a cinema, a holiday of sound. Doggerland is also 3 minutes of whatever you want. Intriguing stuff. And James goes on to say, as much as I approve of the name, it makes finding information on them rather difficult. Try running an internet search for Vehicle Band Leeds and see what you come up with. They have an Instagram account, but that doesn't give much away either, other than that there are snappy dresses. This is the group's third single. I assume an album is in the pipeline. Well, since James sent me his notes, there has indeed been an album, released last June. It's called Widespread Vehicle, and from it, this is Doggerland.
trampoline in a plague town. The lights are on, nobody's there. I grew up next to pylons in a town defined by a fictional teddy bear. At every fourth corner it would disappear before it was actually there. Here's some bad news from a smile. We live inside calendars. It's not important to me. In the kingdom of elusive function rooms, the smell of vinegar haunts the families. When they all stumble out for cigarettes, I go through their jackets. I walk home the long way and dream of harpsichord fly tips and a sky full of strawberry marks and hearing aids over business parks. I was born in a corner of my own heart. I've spent all my life trying to get to the other part. It's not important to me. No, it's not important to me. Not important to me. No, it's not important to me. Oh no. No more of that piano talk. I get up late in the day and wait for the last bit of sun to pack up and walk away. Walk away.
From the 2025 album Widespread Vehicle, that was Vehicle with Doggerland. For Something Borrowed, James has gone for a Beatles cover, and I have to confess that I didn't recognise it as such when I first listened to the playlist. As regular listeners will know, I tend to listen to the playlist sort of blind, if you like, before I have any context. Just put it on in the car, don't read up on the songs, anything like that. And I really hadn't picked up that this was a Beatles cover. So this is from an album called Mother Nature's Son, released in 1968 by Ramsey Lewis, an American jazz pianist. And the album consists of 10 versions of songs from the White Album. And interestingly enough, it was released only a month or so after that album came out. I've given it a listen, and it's a lot of fun with some surprisingly abstract moments. Highlights of it being his jaunty take on Rocky Raccoon and a quite soulful and bluesy rendition of Dear Prudence. And again, I'll put links to those on the webpage. This is what James has to say. Ramsey Lewis's cover of Julia by the Beatles is something else. It begins with a flourish of the harp. Ramsey then comes in on piano. Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire on drums. Cleveland Eaton on bass. Things get really interesting at around 1 minute 10 seconds, whereupon Maurice White moves up a gear. And this is the segment that the UMCs sampled on It's Gonna Last, testifying to anyone who doubts it that sampling is a genuine art form. From the 1968 album Mother Nature's Son, that was Ramsey Lewis and his cover of Julia by the Beatles. And the UMC's track that he mentioned, again, I'll put a link to that on the website as well. Something Blue next. Over to James. He says, I came across The Poets in 2005 by way of a compilation entitled Illusions from the Crackling Void, a collection of 60s psychedelic garage rock released on the Bam Caruso imprint that I purchased from Really Good Records in Plymouth. I Am So Blue, which is the name of the song, however, is taken from another Bam Caruso record entitled The Clouds Have Groovy Faces. The Poets were from Scotland and part of the freakbeat scene, which, as far as I can tell, is really just a British term for psychedelia with a modish slant. So here is his choice. This is The Poets with I Am So Blue.
Sweetwater kiss, and I still miss her smile. She was the one who made my life worthwhile. Now she is gone, gone, gone. I am so blue. Soft was her touch, soft as a breath of spring. She spoke a word, and I heard songbirds sing. Now she is gone, gone, gone. I am so blue. Till I'm kissing her again. So blue.
I Am So Blue by The Poets, a single from 1965. Time for James to take it down now. He says, I discovered Soft Walls on Spotify in 2014, the same year that I discovered Spotify. I don't generally use Spotify for listening to albums or playlists, but it's a useful device for finding and sharing new music. In any case, I would probably never have heard of Soft Walls if it wasn't for Spotify, so go figure. Soft Walls is in fact a guy from Brighton called Dan Reeves, and he's really worth checking out. I think this song sounds like a sort of druggier, dreamier version of 8 Miles High, which is no bad thing, of course. Well, let's see what you think. Soft Walls with Won't Remember My Name from the 2014 album No Time, which you can buy at Name Your Price on Bandcamp, and that was the Take It Down choice of my guest mixer this week, James Evans. Right, we're going to India for James's Around the World choice, and it's an artist who was a playback singer, the ones who used to sing the songs that film actors would then mime to, and this is like Lata Mangeshkar, who David Gedge selected in his mix. So James's choice is Nahid Akhtar, who was known as the Nightingale of Pakistan, and the track is called, if I can pronounce the Hindi correctly, Tera Siva Duniya Mine, which I think translates as In the World Except You. James says, I discovered this on a Best of Nahid Akhtar cassette my housemates and I found in the bargain bin in Woolworths in Hounslow in 1996. We listened to it a lot. Happy days.
तेरे सिवा दुनिया
For James's left of centre choice, we're having some hip hop. So over to him. Son of Berserk, he tells me, were discovered and produced by Public Enemy's The Bomb Squad. Their debut album, Berserk, 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 exemplifies Hank Shockey's assertion that music is simply the manipulation of noise. Whereas the bulk of this underrated album is fairly chaotic, N41, which is the name of the song, is minimal, almost abstract. Screams and scuffles can be heard in the background and what sounds like the rumble of an underground train. So, from the album Berserk, Berserk, Berserk from 1991, this is Son of Berserk with N41.
Climb aboard the NSC Express into Soul City. There's 5,000 hot watts of raw funk, burning you right smack dab in your, well, you know. So can you laugh to the Son of Berserk razzmatazz? So move the crowd so I can get on the damn bus.
Hey, I got the front, you got to watch your back. I'm just a rapper taking up that slack. You know that. I serve the best, I'll give the fellas the rest, and we can take it to the top, and it'll be my finesse. Now, exquisitely, NSC to shake and shiver your mind.
Used to be Townhouse 3.
It's not a story I told or sin to console. I kick the top, show sugar, no bars, no host. Just a punk rock disco, rock and roll. But you can look at me and you can see that I got soul high, and I'm super bad. Watch it. I got soul high, and I'm super bad.
You got to hold it, wiggle it. You got to handle it, needing it, wanting it. You got to straddle it, rough raw till your body gets sore. Now watch out and you be ready, cause I want more. High class, socialite, Hollywood, the works. All this is so true. You're going berserk, you call it comatose rock. Shake your butt, all up is to my rhythm. You're digging my cut, now what you do is stop. You're making it hot. You bend over, take my best shot, cause he'll squeeze, tease. Yes, he can please. First the tension mounts, and then the release. Fulfill, satisfied, and you should relax till he regroups. Once again, he will tax till it's done till the end. Not till then, you'll sweat, you'll scream, wanna do it again. I like your body move, now let me see how you do. I got nothing but a body full of juice for you, cause they'll jump, stand up, spitting the wind. So hot, so sweet, you know the friction is it.
New mashed potato, called hip hop, symphonic. The beat of the drums,
If you know what I mean.
my sympathy has nobody rock. The only thing that eases my mind
It's me and myself.
Your suspicions tax me with clout, and in the end you wanna bust me out.
Or give me a kiss.
You're such a freak in your tight leather skirt. Into the bed, I bet you do work. Oh, that's what they say.
We rock the beat hot, we rock the beat.
When I flex,
We rock the beat hot, we rock
I
the
can
beat.
get funky fresh.
We rock the beat hot, we rock
He's
the
called the
beat.
Son of Berserk.
We rock the beat hot, we rock the beat.
Yo, is it my turn yet? Can I get
No,
some?
no. It's like that. Suckers be catting. From the brick to Manhattan, I'm stepping. With finessing. No, I won't let him in. I'm giving you medicine. Shine a brighter light than all Con Edison saying peace. And to my partner, yeah, I dread. And he's a roster. Speaking on macking, girlies on my lapping. Something that I do to keep the game intact and don't sleep. Because I'm strong in the mind. Plus, I like to sleep with my nine. It's only right that we show and prove. While other rap bands are just slowing the move. No, you can't hack this. Watch me mac this. Man, I don't hesitate. Watch me figure skate. Pump your fist like this and step quick, cause I'm used to this. I used to be a prostitute. Sticking up girlies for the loot. And damn if I slack in the back, pulling old jams from the stack. You know what I'm saying, black? NSC in the sun. Here comes another one. Roll with the wrecker. Microphone checker 1, 2.
Yo, you mind turning down the radio?
Born to die, why? Look at the 7 signs, zodiac killers, maniacs, and sacred wine. Devils on a level, I'm losing my grip, G. I'm shooting at all that I think I see. I need a drink, quick, make it a strong one. Or better yet, yo, give me a bigger gun. Zebras on my ceiling. I need healing. If there's a way to take out, then I'm stealing. Born to live, but each dawn I cry. Visions of a Holocaust up in the sky. Concrete jungle, I was born and raised. The preacher told my mother I should be in a cage. I'm Jack the Ripper with a pen. I think I should tell you, the name is John Well. I got a room at the Bellevue.
Yo, I'm kicking my rhyme. I don't care what y'all say. Well, I'm the sister of the posse, NSC is level higher. The knowledge I spark will ignite a mental fire. I'm throwing smooth like a wave on a Nile. Another lesson is learned to add the ammo to my pop. I'm very sophisticated, but also hardcore. My beats are designed to make it get on the dance floor. So where y'all going? What's up?
Yo, get on, baby. We 5,000.
Alright, you don't know me, so don't sweat it.
Before we get to the next track, I just wanted to take a minute to offer my thanks to all of you who have supported this podcast, in particular those who regularly comment and share online. So a shout out to Ian Forth of Sombrero Fallout, Paul and Tony from Twilight Turntable, Andy Gillespie, David Hughes, Richard Catherall, Ian McCulloch, not that one, Stephen Pilling, Paul Garrett, Mark Hex, Johnny Mack, Ian Gelling, Harry Dillon, and all the good folk on the Fall Forum and Wedding Present Forums. Apologies to anyone I've missed out, but just I wanted to say that the support is very much appreciated. If you're a regular listener and you haven't yet put forward your own mix, then please get in touch. You can email me at thefallinfives@gmail.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. Right, James's wildcard choice. He originally went for the Falls Solicitor in Studio, which is a fine selection, but thinking that I'd already had a fair few Fall tracks, which I have on this show, he changed his mind and went for this instead. That was the wildcard choice of my mixer this week, James Evans. That was Kate Le Bon with Sisters from the 2013 album Mug Museum. Right, now the song that James selected as his finale is my favourite track on the mix by some distance. I've liked all of it, but I particularly like this one. It's noisy, it's abandoned, it's fractured and intense. It's one of those songs that has that sense of being on the verge of falling apart at any moment, which is something I love in a song. This is what James had to say. Look at You Now You're Crying is Comet Gain's contribution to Fields and Streams, a double CD compilation released on Kill Rock Stars in 2002. It also appears on Broken Record Players, their collection of singles, B-sides, Peel session tracks and other various oddities. The song starts off predictably enough, but at the beginning of the second verse descends into a wall of noise and distortion. Against all this, Rachel Evans holds steady, her intonation just right. I think this is absolutely wonderful, so turn it up loud. This is Comet Gain.
It's the ending of her day, and there's no one to say
Comet Gain with Look at You Now, You're Crying, the finale track of my guest mixer this week, James Evans. So many thanks to James for what I think is a sterling mix full of intriguing twists and turns, and I should thank him again for his patience. I did promise James I would get there in the end, and I did. Before I sign off, coming up in future shows, we have some really exciting guests. We have Rachel Wood, guitarist in The Wedding Present, Ian Key of Louder Than War, Emma Pollock of the Delgados, musician and author Mark Hex, Brian Thomas, also known as Buggy Jive, experimental artist Kylie Lunsford, and James McNew of Yola Tango. Next week's show is going to be none other than Deb Googe of My Bloody Valentine. So see you next Saturday for another lovely curated compilation. Thanks for listening.